Hello again. Alright, now we are going to the next level, solving rational equations instead of a linear equation. We have covered rational expressions, so this is just the extension of that. The steps in solving rational equations, I put it down here. There are two steps, very crucial. The first one is that you need to find what the NPV is, and that is the values of the variable that make the equation undefined. That's very crucial, right? So the denominator matters, right? We have to look at the denominators. And then the next thing is that we just go through it and solve the rational equation by multiplying both sides by the lowest common denominator. And the reason we do this is, and you're going to see this, is that we can, once the denominators are all the same from left hand side and the right hand side, then we can just equate the numerators together and then solve, and that's just too easy. So let's do the first thing first. What is the NPV here, or the value of the variable x that makes the equation undefined? So we have x in the denominator there, and x cannot be 0. That is the crucial thing. So that is the value NPV, x equal to 0, or x cannot be equal to 0. So, and then now we're going to go through and solve. Okay, next, what is the LCD? So the LCD is the lowest common denominator. It must have a factor of 5. There are 3 rational expressions here, so it must have a factor of 5 and must have factor of x, and the third rational expression also has a denominator of 5, so that's a repeat. We don't have to worry about it. So LCD will end up being 5x. Excellent. Now we're going to multiply every single term, okay, by 5x, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to multiply the left of the right hand side of the rational equations and the left hand side by that, and then we're going to go through and simplify. All right, so we can just quickly do the division right away. 5 divided by 5 is that's 1. X times x is x squared. That's on the left hand side. That's what's going to be. Now this 5x is going to be multiplied by that, and is going to multiplied by this fraction, which is x plus 3 over 5. So when you do that, 5x, so let me write it actually like that. So sorry, that's 10. So 10x over x plus, and then in this case would be 5x times x plus 3 divided by 5. Now be aware that this 5x is actually 5x over 1 and 5x over 1, and the rule of the multiplication of fraction applies here. You multiply the numerators, you multiply the denominators. So 5x only multiplies by 2. It doesn't go and multiply by x, so don't make a mistake there. So now after doing this, you need to go through to the right hand side and simplify the two expressions that we have. So x divided by x, that's gone. In this case, we'll have 10 plus. And in here, the 5 and 5, they divide. And now you can expand that. Let's do that. That would be x squared plus 3x. And then there's x squared on the left-hand side. Excellent. Now we're going to collect like terms, bring all x's to one side, and then numbers to the other side. So in here, we minus x squared minus 3x minus x squared, so minus 3x and minus x squared on the left hand side. So bringing all the x's to the left hand side. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. And when you do the math on the left hand side, you get minus 3x, because x squared minus x squared is 0. On the right hand side, you only going to have 10 left. And then the final thing that you have to do, divide both sides by the coefficient of x, which is minus 3. Your final answer will be minus 10 divided by 3. Then you must check. So the first thing you check it against the NPV. If it turns out that the value here, minus 10 over 3, is the same value as an NPV, then you cannot accept that a value for x. You have to reject it. Okay, so that will end up being you have to reject the solution, reject the value, the solution. Okay, if it turns out that it's not, then you have to go through the normal way of checking and making sure that the left hand side is equal to the right hand side, and in this case it is. All right, let's look at another example. In this case, 2x minus 3 over 3x minus 4 equals 2x plus 7 over 3x plus 4. So first thing first, we got to come up with the NPVs, and that means each of these brackets you have to set them equal to 0 and solve for x. So in this case, x will be 4 over 3. And the next one will be, so 3x plus 4, you set that equal to 0, and then you have to solve for that, and this would be x equals to negative 4 over 3. Notice that I bypass solving this simple linear equation. I am confident that you can do this. Okay, these are the NPVs. X cannot be these values. All right, now we have to go through and find the LCD. So the LCD must have a factor of 3x minus 4 and factor of 3x plus 4. So that would be, you put them together, and that's what it will be. And then from this point on, you multiply both sides of this equation, or sorry, rational expression, both sides of the equation by this LCD. So go ahead and do that. Okay, and then once you do this, you notice that you will get set up like that. And by doing this, now you can go and simplify. So 3x minus 4 divide by the denominator. So on the right hand side you get 3x plus 4, sorry, this is the left hand side, 2x minus 3, and on the other side the 3x plus 4 and 3x plus 4, it actually divides, and you get 2x plus 7 and 3x minus 4. Now you have to go through and expand both sides of these equations and then do all the mathematical gymnastics, bring everything together and collect like terms. So do that. Okay, when you expand it, that's what you will get right here in this line right there. And then when you simplify it more, you get the third line. And now we can bring all the x's to one side. Let's do that. The 6x, so minus 6x squared from both sides, and then minus 13x from both sides. Let's do that, and then we'll move the numbers later. So let's do this. So that would be minus 14x minus 12 equals to the 13x and the minus 28. So 13x minus 13x becomes 0. And then the last thing is that we need to get rid of the 12 because we have to isolate the 14x on its own. We will add 12 to both sides and then simplify. Alright, and the last step is basically once we get minus 14x on the left hand side and then equals to minus 16, then we divide both sides by minus 14, the coefficient of x, and our final answer will be 16 over 14. And let's simplify that more. Both divide by 2 with 8 over 7. Make sure you check against the NPV. So we are good with that because both NPVs is 3/4 and positive 3/4, so that's okay. And then the regular routine, make sure that the right hand side is equal to the left hand side or vice versa.